Hi there, welcome back to the 67 Hail Hail channel on YouTube with me, Hamish. As you can see, we're joined by the usual guys for the start of the week, John and Jackie. John, we had to endure the weekend of watching Celtic at Tannadice. Sadly, Jackie actually had to witness it with his own eyes. Jackie, I can't imagine that would have been an easy afternoon watching that kind of performance.
No, I'm not standing next to Chris Boyd as well with the cheese on. It's. I think it's kind of sums things up a little bit. You know, it's been coming. You know, they're losing the league for quite a while, and I didn't anticipate it would be so soon. To be honest, you know, before the split, which is pretty remarkable, really. You know, from where we were last season to now, how it's sort of fell apart. But I think the United game summed up a lot of things that's been wrong, you know, with the season and not taking chances and just inconsistency, really.
Obviously, for the Celtic supporters, Jack, it's been over a year since they've managed to watch Celtic in person. And often when you're at the game, rather than watching it on TV, you can kind of get a bit more insight into the team or the performance. Did anything catch your eye in that way that you perhaps haven't been seeing on the TV in recent weeks?
Not really, to be honest. I think, you know, it is strange because, you know, they kind of create their own atmosphere and shout. You can hear them shouting for things, or you know, I thought they started the game okay, intricate, despite it was a kind of like most of the pitches. It's quite bobbly at the moment. You know, they started with a good intensity, but you know, I think the only thing that didn't surprise me was he didn't concede a goal in the last 20 minutes when they sort of tailed off. He made changes, and that was the only thing I was kind of surprised about with John. That, you know, I'd said that yesterday after the game. You know, when it was a game they had to win to not lose the league yesterday, but still he didn't change things to go and get a goal. You know, changing Tumble with Rogic wasn't changing the shape or the system, or, you know, it was crying out for another striker to stretch the game, which Griffiths did. You know, he can do. You know, they had one instance in the first half. I think it was McGregor hit a fantastic ball over the top for Edouard, and Seagrave saved it quite well. But there wasn't enough of that. You know, if you had Griffiths up on earlier, you'd maybe stretch the game and let Edouard come into little pockets and turn and run at them and create space for others. Whereas Rogic coming on at that point, it just condensing it even more in the middle. You get Rogic coming in, Christie coming in, you know, and it was pretty predictable stuff. You know, United actually made changes and went with guys up front, two up front, and put another one up, coming on to the other side, and had a little bit more quality. They could have snatched it, you know, a couple of breakaways, an extra man in attack. So that was the only bit that kind of surprised me, that we didn't end up losing the match, because that's the way I felt it was going to go in the end.
And what we're putting the second half drift down to? Is it a fitness thing, Jackie, or is it a mentality thing? Because it's obviously been something that's apparent all season, but I feel like even under the two matches under Kennedy so far, there's been a definite drift in the performance, like the energy level go down, they kind of withdraw into themselves. What are we putting that down to?
I think both. I think, you know, confidence here, and it kind of drains out, and it's again, there's not a lot of space. You know, everybody's going into little areas, and then you can see it. Then it's just a massive break on you. You know, they're not using the space, or everything's going through the middle. Exactly the same as the Ross County game, Neil's last game. Everything's through the middle. At the start of the game, we were getting a bit of joy down the right hand side with Kenny. Christie was getting a little pocket, and Kenny was getting into the byline a few times. His balls were okay, they weren't fantastic, but again, at times there's not enough men in the box to, you know, if you've got two strikers in there. I said a number of months ago about playing a 4-4-2 system. They don't need a sitting midfielder. They have the ball, everybody's camped in against you. Just get the ball, create some width in the team. You know, obviously the plus side was good to see Forrest, although he still looks a good bit off it, and it will take him a bit of time, but, you know, it's just good to see him back out getting some game time.
Hamish, are you seeing the ghost of Neil Lennon on the touchline?
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I mean, I was maybe unrealistic in how much I was looking forward to seeing Celtic without Neil Lennon as the manager, and I maybe felt that the performances were going to be drastically better, or me as a fan, I was going to enjoy watching the team more because he wasn't managing us. But it's just the exact same stuff we're seeing. For me, it's just a team that have no desire to win football matches, and that should be the most basic thing expected of a Celtic player. I know the league was away prior to yesterday, but that was a game yesterday that we had to win to prolong the title, the wait for them to win the title and to give us a chance in 2 weeks' time to at least take something for this season. I know it would be a small scalp, but at least beating them when they could win the league at Celtic Park would have been something, and now we've not even got that. It's just a team that fails to live up to every challenge they're posed. We've dropped points now to 9 of the 11 other teams in the league. It's only Hamilton and Motherwell who haven't taken something against us this season. That just says it all. And moving forward, Jackie, we're set for more of these kind of games between now and the end of the season. I've accepted it at this stage. I won't be fully invested in watching matches until they properly matter. And the reality is that matches haven't mattered for a long time supporting Celtic. Do you fear that we could, almost lose supporters during this time when games are just run of the mill and no one's really involved?
No, I think there will be the league games. Obviously, the Scottish Cup's going to start up again. That becomes the kind of priority. But I think for me, yesterday, looking at it, if you've been given an opportunity to take the team between now and the end of the season and want to put your own stamp on things and not be the same, it's a chance for John to do something different, and looking at the game, there's no change. I thought it was crying out for. I didn't understand taking Turnbull off at that time either.
Yeah.
I thought he was, probably one of the most likely to create something. He's always looking to create, especially need a goal. There's other ones that were taken off before him, but not having two strikers, not having real width again in the team. As I said, it's an opportunity for John, and if he has got aspirations to be given the opportunity, of being the next manager, he's got to show people why he's the man for it, or what he's going to do different. I mean, football's problem solving. To win games of football, it's changing things as you see it. And looking at it yesterday, I don't think he did that. I don't think he made changes. It was like he planned it in his head before the game started. This is what I'm going to do, and then in the last 5 minutes I'll put Griffiths on if we need a goal, and hopefully he can produce. Whereas, in his mind, had he put in his mind already that he maybe told Forrest that he was going to bring him on after 65, 70, and he was going to bring Logic on for Turnbull. That's, for me, that's what it looked like, rather than actually, we need to win this. Forget about sentiments, getting a pat in the back and nice to have you back. It's about winning. In Celtic, you need to win. You need to win every game, and that yesterday was disappointing because, he had a chance there to change things around. Win yesterday, get the next game against Rangers, go and beat them. Not in your own patch, but stand up against them and show that, that you can actually go and compete. So all it's done is ask more questions for next season, and then become a real, embarrassment. It's not maybe the right word to use, but it's a real marker down that Rangers have set for next season. We've actually won the league before a game before the split, which is incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
So if anything, that should really shake the board about the next bit. It's got to be done, and it's got to be so important to get everything in place sooner rather than later.
Jackie, just to cap this discussion off, the board have come under criticism. Neil Lennon's come under a lot of criticism. John Kennedy's come under a lot of criticism, and all rightly so. But are the players getting away with it a bit now? Do you think they've kind of had Neil Lennon as a shield for much of the season? Are the players, just as much to blame for this season?
Yeah, I mean, inconsistency has been one of the major factors, and it just, you see some of them, they don't look on it, they don't look, chasing it. I watched a bit yesterday, and Roger could just come on and he's kind of jogging up the park and shake them into gear, or putting your head in. They spoke about stuff before about the marking that, in Neil's last interview against Ross County. I know people jumped on it because he was kind of laughing there, but it's like, how do you get somebody to put their body on the line? How do you get somebody there? The marking that they do at set pieces, and that was again another concern yesterday. That's the bit you're looking at and going, and actually both boxes, because you don't really fancy them to score a goal either from a set piece. From a corner, you don't think, oh, we've got a corner here, we could score here, where it should be an opportunity. But on the other hand, when they get a corner, you think we could lose a goal here, and that it's not a healthy thought. That you should have goals throughout the team, and sadly that's not been the case this season. It's been reliant on certain individuals to produce. As I said yesterday, it was like, right, Lee Griffiths, can you come on in the last 5 minutes and try and, there's no doubt, as I said yesterday, there's no doubt that if he had the opportunities that Elyounoussi had, he would have scored one of them. The one across the face, that would have been, at least he would have hit the target and made the goalkeeper make another save. But disappointing because, as I said, it's a lot of things there. You're looking at it. I still think the personnel is good enough to really go and push. I do, but there's a few things that are lacking with it, and like you've said, a lot of them maybe getting away with it because the manager takes a rap just now. So who else is to blame now that it didn't work yesterday? It turns attention to the players or the board or John or whatever. But it's been disappointing season.
Yeah, I mean, we've been so reliant on bits of quality this season, haven't we? Like people digging us out a hole, as you say, Jackie, and we've been so reliant on players who have done it for the team 3 or 4 seasons ago. You mentioned 2 of them there, Tom Rogic, Lee Griffiths. I think Scott Brown's probably another one that for me has been a brilliant Celtic captain, arguably maybe our second greatest captain ever. But this season he's not really been at the races at all. Scott Bain, probably another one as well, who was good a couple of seasons ago but shouldn't be a number one now, and these are guys we're just still relying on. So that's where we're at, guys, but we do have a future to look forward to. That's the great thing about football, is that it moves on, and we'll have a new team and a new manager and all that kind of stuff to chat about. We're going to have a video kind of on a similar topic to that later in the week with regards to what's going to happen at Celtic now that the league is officially away. Thanks guys, thanks everyone for watching this video. Remember, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, to do that would be really appreciated, and we'll speak to you soon.